You've learned how bass behave. You've learned how seasons, structure, and environmental conditions affect their movement. You've learned how to use advanced techniques and modern electronics. But how do all of these pieces come together during an actual fishing trip? In this final episode, we'll walk through real-world fishing scenarios and show how experienced anglers combine biology, structure, seasonal patterns, and electronics to locate and catch bass step by step. Welcome to the final episode of the Advanced Bass Fishing Playbook series. Throughout this series, we've broken down bass fishing into its core components: behavior, environment, structure, techniques, pattern development, and technology. Now it's time to bring everything together and apply it in realistic fishing situations. These case studies will demonstrate how to make decisions on the water when conditions are constantly changing. Section 1, Scenario 1. Early spring pre-spawn on a natural lake. Imagine launching your boat on a clear, natural lake in early spring. Water temperatures are rising but have not yet reached spawning levels. Based on seasonal knowledge, you expect bass to be moving from deep wintering areas toward shallow spawning flats. Instead of heading straight to shallow water, you begin by targeting staging areas such as secondary points and channel swings near spawning coves. Using sonar and mapping, you locate a point that transitions from 15 feet to 8 feet of water and shows scattered rock. After catching a bass on a crankbait along the drop-off, you test similar points elsewhere in the lake, and begin catching fish consistently. This is a classic example of identifying and expanding a pre-spawn staging pattern. Section 2, Scenario 2, Summer largemouth in a vegetation-rich reservoir. In midsummer, water temperatures are high, and thick vegetation covers large portions of the reservoir. Understanding that largemouth bass seek shade and oxygen during hot weather, you focus on deep weed edges rather than shallow flats. Using side imaging, you identify irregularities in the grass line where it forms points and pockets. Flipping jigs and Texas-rigged plastics into these areas produces strikes from bass holding just inside the vegetation. As the sun rises higher, fish position deeper into the grass, requiring more precise presentations to reach them. This scenario demonstrates how structure, cover, and temperature interact to concentrate bass in predictable areas during summer. Section 3, Scenario 3, Fall smallmouth following baitfish. In autumn, you're fishing a large lake known for its smallmouth bass population. Surface activity reveals baitfish schools moving into creek arms. Instead of focusing on shoreline cover, you use sonar to locate suspended baitfish and observe smallmouth positioned beneath them. Casting swim baits and jerk baits through these schools triggers aggressive strikes. As the day progresses, the baitfish move deeper, and the bass follow. By adjusting lure depth and presentation speed, you stay aligned with the feeding pattern and continue catching fish. This case highlights the importance of tracking baitfish movement and adjusting presentations throughout the day. Section 4, Scenario 4, Fishing after a cold front. Cold fronts often create some of the toughest fishing conditions. Air pressure rises, skies clear, and bass frequently become less active. In this situation, instead of continuing to power fish shallow water, you slow down and shift to finesse techniques. Targeting deeper structure with drop shot rigs and small soft plastics produces subtle bites from bass that are unwilling to chase faster lures. Recognizing how weather affects bass behavior, and adapting your technique accordingly, is a key part of advanced angling. Section 5, Decision-making on the water. In each of these scenarios, success depended on making logical decisions based on environmental conditions, seasonal timing, and fish behavior. Rather than relying on guesswork, the angler formed a hypothesis about bass location, tested that hypothesis with search techniques, adjusted based on feedback from electronics and fish responses. This decision-making process is what separates experienced anglers from those who rely solely on instinct or habit. Section 6, Common mistakes in real fishing situations. Even skilled anglers sometimes fall into predictable traps, such as returning to yesterday's productive spot without considering changing conditions, ignoring baitfish movement, fishing visible cover while overlooking deeper structure. By reviewing real scenarios, you can learn to recognize and avoid these mistakes before they cost you time and opportunities on the water. Section 7, Building confidence through experience. Every fishing trip adds to your understanding of bass behavior and environmental patterns. The more you apply these principles in real situations, the more intuitive they become. Over time, you'll begin to recognize familiar patterns across different lakes and seasons. This confidence allows you to approach new water with a clear strategy instead of uncertainty. Section 8, Bringing the playbook together. The core message of this entire series is simple: bass fishing is not random. Bass follow predictable biological and environmental rules. By understanding How bass think, how seasons influence movement, how structure and cover position fish, how techniques trigger strikes, and how electronics reveal underwater details. You develop a complete system that can be applied anywhere bass live. This concludes the Advanced Bass Fishing Playbook series. If you've followed each episode, you now have a comprehensive framework for understanding and applying advanced bass fishing concepts, from basic fish behavior to modern electronics and real-world decision-making. Bass fishing is a lifelong learning process, and every day on the water presents new variables and new challenges. But with the knowledge from this playbook, you'll be better prepared to adapt, analyze, and succeed in a wide range of conditions. Thanks for watching the Advanced Bass Fishing Playbook series. Subscribe to the Wiki Fishia channel for more fishing adventures, gear breakdowns, and in-depth guides, and visit Starship Marine Wiki Fishia for the full written version of this playbook and additional fishing resources. Tight lines, and we'll see you on the water.